The market is volatile, the stocks keep going down. Then boom, we hit new highs. Everything is different now, but you don't gotta chase. Don't panic, don't stress. Time to realign, plan it out, invest. It's the First Fruits Podcast. We elevating with the First Fruits Podcast. No time for waiting, time to grow, give back, reinvest like that. Everything you need to know, the First Fruits Podcast. Let's go.
Welcome to another episode of the First Fruits Podcast. Man, my button didn't want to work today. What's going on? Man, I'm glad you guys joining me today. My normal day is on Thursday. Man, I'm coaching basketball now. Let's give it another cheer. So, coaching my son in basketball now. I didn't plan to do it. I just signed him up for basketball because I didn't want him doing anything in the winter. And then he says to his friends, he tells his friends, he says, "Hey, Dad, my friends want to know, will you coach me with them?" And my friends asked, "Will you coach us?" I've never coached basketball. I played, ex-football players. And what happens is once you play football in college and then after that, you want to stay active, you usually go to the gym and start playing basketball. Like, I know a lot of people who have done that. But all right, so look, let's get right into it. Man, I have a lot to talk about, to discuss. Man, first, guys, I just want to ask you to like, subscribe, share. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow it. I'm trying to grow my message. I plan to give you guys some valuable information today. I want to start out by saying the premise and the basis of my show is about the first fruits process and the first fruits system. You see, the first fruits is the beginning, right? It is the starting point. It is the genesis with your relationship with money, right? And I know as traders, right, the big thing to do as traders is, to floss and show how much money we make and do all those things. But I want to change that narrative, right? I want to change that narrative. And I want the narrative to be, not only do we use our brokerage accounts, yes, to better our lifestyle, to travel, and to do all those things. I also want to use our brokerage account and the money we earn to give, right? We need to give back to the system that gives to us. Not everybody has this opportunity to invest and has a brokerage account like we do. So therefore, we have to show thanks, and not just saying thank you, but giving back to this system, finding a charity to give back to. It's that time of year, the end of the year, where, tax time will be around the corner. You're starting to put together some things for taxes. Or if you're like a late minute or procrastinator like I am, you're going to wait till the last minute. But it's that time that if you're going to start giving, this is the time to give. And the great thing to do is to give some of your profits that you have earned this year. Find a charity, your church or whatever. Find somebody to give some of those profits away. When you give, right? When you give, it changes your relationship with money. It will make you a better trader. Because this system, right? Even trading, right, is based on greed. It's based on greed. For some reason, and it is a sickness because it's consumerism, you find yourself always wanting more. Always want the new this, the new that, got to get more of this, got to get new that, got to go here, got to go there. And the system puts you in the chokehold. The cure for this system and this chokehold, because once it gets you in a chokehold, the system begins to bully you, right? Bully you financially, right? Gets you stuck. It makes you spend all of your money. And once you start spending all your money, then it becomes a habit, right? Even as traders, right? And if you trade and you make money out of your account, right? And yes, you do great things, you can travel, whatever, but you never want to become a slave to your account. And what happens is all these things online, promoting how great trading is, how much money, it just makes people more greedy, going after more things, right? But the cure to that is giving. So I want to change the narrative, right? I want to change the narrative online. We're not just trading just to buy the next new thing, which will get old and then there'll be another new thing. We want to trade to give, right? And once we give and we reinvest, then we take the rest of those dollars, right? And then we do what we want with them. But the first fruits is the genesis, is the first thing we should do. So when I'm asking you to share and trade, share and like and give this information, this is information that everybody needs to have, especially during the times that we've had now. Some people have had really hard times this year. I've been blessed this year, right? And therefore, I am required, since I'm blessed, to make it be a blessing for others. That's why I take a portion of what I earn in my trading account and I give it away. All right. All right. So let's get into it. So, guys, once again, like, share, subscribe, all that, please. All that, please. I need it. I want to grow my message. All right. So, look, today's topic is AI boom or bust. Okay. So, and I'll say it's both, right? It could be a boom or a bust depending on where you put your money, right? Where you put your money. So, for example, these are two examples. Chegg, which was a education technology company, 5-year total returns negative 98%, right? Task, right? An outsourcing digital ops company, negative 24%. So if you invested in those two companies, yes, AI has been a bust for you. But the other side of it is that everybody knows these two stocks, but if you don't, you should know NVIDIA, right? Up 5-year total return, 1,263%. Turn $1,000 into 13,000 or 10,000 into $136,000. So AI is a boom to you if you were able to invest in the right stocks. Broadcom, right? It's another one. 5-year total return, 1,026%, turns every thousand into $11,000. So 10,000 turns into $112,640. So therefore, it's both, right? So it all depends on where you put your money. You always want to put your money in the top companies. We stay there in the top companies. Now, there will be some laggers that will have some extraordinary returns. And let me tell you, it is always tempting to try to find the next 1,000%. If you missed out on these, or if you're not invested in video or whatever, it's always, and it's a great thing, right? Trying to find the next one, right? Trying to get the next one before it runs up 1,000%, right? And then all the news comes out. Well, it's going to fall all the time. It's going to fall. But these stocks have stood up, and I think continually they'll continue to grow throughout the end of this year and 2026. So it's important for us to stay focused. So what we can do when we're developing a portfolio, say for $1,000, maybe we have maybe we have 90% in these two, right? And then maybe 10%, then you'll try a new company. And if that company is growing and showing you promise, then you add. Okay? But we always want to stay in the best stocks. Man, I'm going to tell you about an article I read, right? Article I read article I read about, and the stock market is for average people to be successful, to make money, to make a lot of money. Article I read about this guy, average job in IT, and he had, um, if you don't know Palantir, it's an AI company, um, software company, and he thought that Palantir was going to be a great stock, so he went all in on the stock. The guy turned 25, 200, and I know likely everybody doesn't have $250,000 sitting around, but he took a home equity loan on his house, and I don't recommend that at all. Okay, don't do that. All right, but he turned $250,000 into $13.1 million. Only the stock market will do that. You don't have to be famous or even a YouTuber or whatever. You can be an average person working an average job and have above average results with your money if you decide to invest, right? And we know that as traders, as investors, we know it's important to put our money in the stock market, but sometimes, especially during how volatile the market has been for the last few weeks, it's important, that we stay motivated, right? And that there are people who are making real returns out there. I haven't made 13 million, but I have made a lot of money off Palantir is one of my favorite stocks, especially to trade. All right. So that's market success. So look, reading the article, uh, Google Gemini versus Chat GBT. As you know, Chat really began the whole AI thing. And but currently, ChatGPT is being outpaced by Google Gemini. It's not growing as fast, right? And that is a problem. And one of the reasons is because Chat has included a lot of barriers in regards to separating child things that should be made for kids and for adults, right? So it basically has an adult portion to it where it's only adults. So I've heard crazy things about people uh basically, Chat GBTs being like a girlfriend, and them, people actually asking Chat very intimate things. All right. I won't say that this is not that type of show, but very intimate things. But that they're saying that that's one of the reasons, because it has to separate, it's not allowing, to, you really have to turn the mode, it's adult mode, that you have to use now. And they're saying because of that mode, that's one of the reasons why it is slowing down, you know. But I don't think Gemini has those. So what they're doing to counteract that ChatGPT is they're adding, an adult mode where you can still go in and ask, and they were just discussing the crazy questions that people were asking ChatGPT, right? And I guess if you're single and I don't know. I just think that there should be a I agree with the parameters they put in. We don't want, kids, you know, revealing things, but the internet is wild, and ChatGPT is fast and answer anything. So I just thought that was interesting. But we want to watch this development, and that's one of the reasons why Google has such exploded the stock. The stock is up on a year compared to the other AI stocks. Now, Google and Apple have been really outperforming the rest of the stocks. And Google, for example, is because of the Chat GBT not having. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about 20-year returns of $1,000 invested. 20-year returns of $1,000 invested. So Nvidia, if you took $1,000 20 years ago, it's up 64,000%. That's 640 times your money. So it turns 1,000 into 640,000. Broadcom turns 1,000 into 328,000. Apple turns 1,000 to 131,000. Nova turns 1,000 to 130,000. Monolithic Power is a great company. I like this company. It's expensive, but it's a good company. Turns 1,000 to 7,000, 70,000, right? 74,000, right? ASML 58,000, 1,000 to 58,000. TSMC turns 1,000 into 54,000, and Fortinet, right? Turns 1,000 into 48,000, right? And kind of all we all we have to do is put our money in and sit. Now, I believe in a different system, right? And to give us the ability to sit and wait. I believe in developing a dividend portfolio where the dividends can be used for multiple reasons, right? The dividend could be used to if you want to go on vacation, if you want to, you need money. If the economy turns down and you need extra income to support your household, I believe developing having one of your portfolio strictly on dividends. And one great thing about E-Trade will allow you to have different portfolios for each strategy and each style. And I believe in three strategies, right? One of them, of course, is a dividend strategy, right? So therefore, a lot of times, you may need money. Sometimes you need money and you need a source of money. Dividends give you that source where you don't want to stop the compounding process for those stocks that you hold. You want to hold those as long as possible, really for like a 10-year, 10-year hold. And that's when the compounding really starts, right? You know, um, Over time when you hold those particular companies. So, so I think that it's real important. So, and then the third account is the option account, right? And I'm gonna show you some of my options return. I'm getting beat up right now, but we're fighting back. So I'm gonna show you the option returns. So another thing I wanted to talk about today is Bitcoin, right? And I want you to think of Bitcoin. This is the reason. This is the reason why I think that we're going to have a great end of the year. I mean, even though December I think is the second best month to invest, right, throughout the year, in regards to returns. But sometimes you never know because usually September is usually one of the worst months, and it happened to be a okay month, and November, which is usually a great month, ended up being a horrible month. Right? November got me too, right? I had an opportunity, and yes, I need to listen to my own advice, but I was being greedy, okay? And I just figured that, hey, if November is like this, December is going to be wonderful. And I should have sold, but I didn't. And so I'm sitting around waiting to for some of my returns to come back. And I've been able to knock down some. I've been whenever I get to 50 to 60, 70%, I'm out. I'm out of selling. And you learn a lesson. And every time you trade, you learn something. You learn something new, right? You learn a lesson. And I've learned definitely to be able to take profit. Especially I know better, especially in the administration and how the markets are acting right now. According to a lot of news out there, a lot of reaction. Because there's so much information. Take profits when you can. As my traders, take profits 30, 50. I'm usually at 30 to 60%. I'm taking profits. And usually, if you have a good trade because within a week, a couple of weeks, it'll hit that mark. And if it's not a good trade, it's gonna make you sit around for a while. It's usually, yes, they can turn around, but usually it's better to take the trade in the beginning. Let me get into my disclaimer real quick. Information provided in the First Fruit Stock Club Podcast is for education, informational purpose only, and should not be considered financial investment tax advice. The views expressed by the host and guests are their own and do not reflect opinions. Investing in stocks and other securities carries risk, including the potential of loss. Principal past performance is not indicative of future results. The First Fruit Stock Club and its affiliates do not guarantee any specific outcomes or returns. By listening to this podcast, you acknowledge that you are responsible for your own investment decisions. All right. So, getting getting back to Bitcoin. All right, and I want you, and this is where I was getting to, is that in the market you have what's called leading and lagging indicators. All right, I want you guys. This is a term you should keep leading and lagging indicators if you don't know, right? And leading indicators gives you not full confirmation, but some confirmation that a trend is coming, right? And the lagging indicator gives you confirmation that the trend was a trend, right? So I believe, right, that Bitcoin, if you watch Bitcoin, this is why I think we're going to end out the year on a positive note. Once we hit close to I think it was $80,000 or 84,000 was the low that we hit, and we bounced up from there. And I think Bitcoin will continue to rise, and the stock market will follow, especially the Nasdaq. So I think the Bitcoin is a leading indicator to where the stock market is going to go. So that's why I was watching. I said, well, if Bitcoin doesn't turn around this year, which end of the year, everybody needs their assets to grow. It needs to hit their goals in regards to other traders, right? Or big traders at big firms. So usually at the end of the year, we have what's called a Christmas rally because everybody's looking to get those Christmas bonuses, right? So, but I think that Bitcoin is a leading indicator right now, and a rise of it, saying that risk may be back on, right? And I thought risk was on in November, but it was not. All right. So let's look at the markets. Dow Jones Industrial Average, man, from last week, and I do week to week, right? From last week, it's up 577 points. Man, we touched the weekly, and always remember of what I try to communicate is that the stock market is a time machine, right? It's a time machine where it moves backwards and forwards. It compounds forward when it's positive, and when it's negative, it discounts backwards. It may believe that it overestimated, and therefore it has to discount backwards. And when it goes backwards, of course, the prices of stocks fall. All right. So the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we touched the weekly, as you see a few times, but then we've been on fire, especially last week. S&P 500, same thing. We've been up, went down a little bit, but I think that we're up from here. Let me tell you, when the S&P 500 hit 7,000, you better be invested. All right, you better be invested. I believe it's going to hit 7,000, maybe at early next year. And I know people are like, well, I don't think that if the S&P hits 7,000, we're going to have a great year. I've been through this before, and everyone thinks AI is a bust. We haven't even begun yet, right? The hype cycle. We haven't even begun the cycle yet, and the cycle is these small AI companies have to come public, and then once these small companies come public, right? Then that's when we have to worry about the bubble. Now we're going to have some volatility, and man, volatility is your friend, right? Because what it does, remember, I always say that the stock market is a time machine. It goes forward, it goes backwards, compounds forward when it's positive, and compounds backwards when it overestimates and has to reevaluate, right? So So when we are investing, right, we want to make sure that we are getting ready. So I think it will be positive if we go to 7,000, and when the IPOs start hitting the market, these new IPOs, these AI companies that are coming, right? We only had a few IPOs this year. But I think there will be a flood of new AI IPOs. And once those AI IPOs come to market and the money comes with it, that's when things get crazy. Just from my experience. I mean, this could be different. Basically 2000 bubble with dot coms, when the crazy companies just started coming public and, hitting gains of 1,000, 2,000% in one day. It was crazy, right? We're nowhere near that mayhem right now. But that's what I believe. We'll see. All right, the NASDAQ, man, since last week, we've been on fire. And I think we'll continue this throughout the year. It's not guaranteed. It's never guaranteed, But I think why Bitcoin leading the way, right? And Bitcoin has turned the risk meter back on. So I'm in position. Got a few positions on. Man, in my long-term portfolio, killing it. Took a little dip, but killing it close to 40% on a year, right? And then, man, my options, man, we were almost about to hit 300%, baby. We were almost there. And that November came in like a roaring lion. And man, but look, as you see, the little spike there, we're fighting back, right? We're fighting back. And I believe I don't know if I'm gonna get back to where we were, but as long as we get close, right? And I see some games, I'm selling 30 to 50%. I'm out. I'm out of there, But I just still always believe in the markets. It presents an opportunity for us next year. And I know, and next year is one of those years that may be volatile also, just for the fact of it's the second year in a presidency. I have to do my statistics, but I think the second year in the presidency is usually, I don't know if it's the second or the third, fourth year. So we'll see. We'll see how 2026, but it doesn't matter. Man, we're always prepared. The first fruit stock system, right, is for us to always be prepared. Like we always have cash available. We let our long terms be long terms, and we collect dividends while all this is going on. Even while my options, while my options account looks crazy, but we're gonna come back. I believe that we're gonna come back. But even while it's acting crazy, guess what? I'm collecting dividends. But guess what I do, right? I give a portion of everything I earn. This is your time. First fruits. First fruits. First fruits is the ability to change your life financially and to change your relationship with money. Yes, anybody can buy a new car and travel, but to give a portion of that money away. Because what happens is that you believe that there's abundance out there and that you deserve it. And if you can't give money away, money will never come to you. Man, I thank you guys for joining me for another episode of the First Fruits Stock Club. Got a lot of things coming up for the new year. Man, once again, guys, help me out. Tell somebody, share this information. Share, subscribe, like. I need your help. I appreciate it. And until next time, all right? Be fruitful.
The market is volatile, the stocks keep going down. Then boom, we hit new highs. Everything is different now, but you don't gotta chase. Don't panic, don't stress. Time to realign, plan it out, invest. It's the First Fruits Podcast. We elevating with the First Fruits Podcast. No time for waiting, time to grow, give back, reinvest like that. Everything you need to know, the First Fruits Podcast. Let's go.